Hi. This is probably the last image you'd ever see on this. My name is Paul. I'm 22 years old. And gee, it's wonderful to actually have a crowd of drum kits, chairs, and about 3 people. But hey, that's to be expected when you're doing stand-up comedy for the first time in the middle of a pandemic. This is probably the last by the time this comes out, we're still going to be in a pandemic. My name is Paul. I'm 22 years old. I know you're probably expecting. It's wonderful to actually have a crowd. Everything's back to normal, and drum kits, chairs. We've heard it, and about 3 people. Look, miracles don't happen. But hey, that's to be expected when you're doing stand-up comedy for the first time in the middle of a pandemic. I'd be probably a lot better at this. Thankfully, by the time this comes out, we're still going to be let's get to know me. Because it comes out tomorrow. I'm Paul. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Camel, Ohio. Everything's back to normal. If you don't know where that is, it's probably better that you don't. Look, miracles don't happen. Not to say that's a bad place, but literally 24 hours. It could be a lot better. They did. Some things also to know about me. I was in theater for 12 years. So I really. But first, let's get to know me. So I'm Paul. If it looks, I'm 22 years old. I'm from Camel, Ohio. It probably is. Which, if you don't know where that is, so let's start with one of my favorite stories to tell. Not to say it's about my grandfather, but my grandfather unfortunately passed away about 4 years ago. Some things also to know about me. I was in theater for 12 years. My grandfather was I'm going to buy this and not even know what the hell it is kind of guy. A lot more than it should be. So he went down to the flea market and bought a hat. So let's start with one of my favorite stories. He never even looked at the front. Looked at the guy who was selling and said, my grandfather unfortunately passed away about 4 years ago. And said, $6. I know, kind of a bad start for stand-up comedy. But it gets to buy the hat. My grandfather didn't even look in the mirror. I'm going to buy this and not even know what the hell it is kind of guy. And proceeded to cut his neighbor's yard. So he went down to the flea market. And he's mowing the lawn. He's going about his business. He never even looked at the front. He goes up, knocks on the guy who was selling it and said, lawn's done. How much is this for? Money. His neighbor looked at him and said, $6. Honest to God, looked at him like, proceeded to buy the hat, wear it. Didn't even look in the mirror to see how it looked on him. My grandfather proceeded to cut his neighbor's yard. He's mowing the lawn. He's going about his business. Look at this hat. He goes up, knocks on the door, says, "This is a steal. It's a corduroy hat. I'll be taking the money." He was more worried about his neighbor looked up at the hat, and it was $6. And honest to God, looked at him like my grandmother looks at him with the same odd expression. Says, "Hey, that's the same expression give him the money." My grandfather left and went back to my grandmother's house. Shook her head. He walks in the door and says, "Eleanor, look at this hat. $6. This is a steal. It's a corduroy hat." He was more worried about the fact that it was a corduroy hat and it was $6. My grandfather proceeded to take the hat off, with the same odd expression, says, "Hey, that's the same expression Mr. Carano big old spray-painted black letters." My grandmother said, "Go fuck yourself." Shook her head and went, "John, go fuck yourself." You know what? It's the first time anyone would ever hear my grandfather make an audible gasp like, John proceeded to run upstairs, and also for the first time, my grandfather proceeded to take the hat off, look at the front. Earlier today, and there it was. I found the big old spray painted black hat right here. Said, "Go literally fuck yourself." Go. Probably won't be able to see everything because the patch is still on. First time anyone would ever hear my grandfather make an audible gasp like something I think we're all saying in the middle of 2020. First time, so the beginning of 2021. I bring this story up because earlier today, another weird thing I kind of stumbled upon too. This hat right here. I like old cartoons. Says, I will watch Looney Tunes. I won't be able to see everything. I'll kind of watch Rocky and Bullwinkle. But one of them I stumbled upon that's super weird. Something I think we're all saying in the middle of 2020. Good Lord, Fat Albert. As if Bill Cosby isn't a fountain of jokes already. Another weird thing take one of the most weirdest pieces he's ever made is the fact that I like old cartoons. Fat Albert, if you don't know, Looney Tunes, is an early Rocky and Bullwinkle animated. But one of them I stumbled upon, kind of like educate good morals to kids, is narrated and starring everyone's favorite pudding pop man, Fat Albert. As if Bill Cosby isn't a fountain of jokes already. I think he voiced most of the characters too. Let's take one of the most weirdest pieces he's ever made. There is Fat Albert where they are announcing a park. And they have Fat Albert make a speech. Animated. The mayor show says, kind of like, I would now like to pronounce the kids and welcome, narrated and starring everyone's favorite pudding pop man. And something hit me. Bill Cosby. Good Lord, is that his legal name? I think he voiced most of the characters too. It's Fat one Albert. Thing stuck out to me. It's his first name. There is a scene where they are announcing a park, and they have Fat Albert make a speech. The mayor literally says, I would now like to pronounce and welcome parent in the world would name their child Fat Albert. And something hit me. What is fat short
Lord,
for?
is that his legal name?
Was he just a big baby when he was born?
Is
Was
Fat
he a skinny
Albert his
child
legal
when he was
name?
born?
Is his first name?
I mean,
legally
yeah, Fat
Albert.
Albert's fat, but I'm sorry.
That's like the biggest
Fat.
label. It doesn't make sense.
Is his first
If you think
name
that's bad
fat,
looking,
his
poor
last
dumb
name
Donald.
Albert?
What?
Who
parent
names
in
their
the world
kid
would
dumb
name their
Donald?
child Fat
Dumb
Albert?
should not be a first name. What was the father's
What
name?
is fat
Stupid.
short
And the mother's
for?
name Idiot. Was he just a big baby when he was born? Was he a
I'd hate to
skinny
imagine
child
what
when he
Fat
was born?
Albert's parents' names were.
I mean, yeah, Fat Albert's fat, but it just struck
That's like
me.
the biggest
I mean, I
label.
guess it was a product of
It
the
doesn't make
time.
sense.
I
If you
even
think
looked
that's
this
bad
up.
looking,
I asked
poor
my
dumb
coworker,
Donald.
Did Fat Albert have a last
Who
name?
names their
To
kid
which she looked at
dumb
me and said,
Donald?
What
Dumb
are you
should not be a
smoking?
first name. What was the father's name?
Fat
Stupid.
Albert.
And the
She
mother's
looked
name
it up and
Idiot.
said, Albert Robinson. Albert Robinson
hate
was
to
actually
imagine
the
what
name
Fat
of the guy
Albert's
who Bill
parents' names
Cosby
were.
actually made Fat Albert.
It just struck
based
me.
on.
I mean, I guess it was a
I
product
looked at
of the
myself and
time.
said,
That's his
I even
name?
looked this up. I asked
Then
my
why
coworker,
does the mayor
did
call him
Albert
Fat
have a
Albert?
last name? To which
Why
she
does he
looked at
call
me
him
and said,
Albert Robertson?
What are you smoking?
Or Robinson, whatever the hell it is.
Fat Albert. She looked it
I
up
looked
and said,
at it and said,
Albert Robinson.
So
Albert
everyone
Robinson
in
was
the
actually
town
the
just
name
calls
of the
him
guy who
Fat
Bill
Albert.
Cosby actually made Fat
Man.
Albert based on.
Life is rough for
I looked
Fat
at myself
Albert.
and said,
You're called
That's
fat
his
every
name?
day. Then why does the
I mean,
mayor
if I were
call
called
him
fat
Fat
every
Albert?
day, I wouldn't mind because
Why does he call him Albert
let's face
Robertson?
it, this wasn't born on
or
salad.
Robinson, whatever the hell it is.
I
It's
looked
kind
at
of
it
like
and
this
said,
weird little.
so everyone in the
I don't know,
town
kind
just
of-
calls him Fat Albert.
It's weird,
Man, it really is weird.
It's
Life is rough for Fat Albert.
You're called fat every day.
Fat Albert, poor guy.
I mean, if I were called fat every day, I
hey, at
wouldn't
least the
mind
movie
because
was good. Let's face
other
it, this
things
wasn't
about
born on
fat
salad.
is I'm a pretty big food guy.
Yeah,
It's kind
I
of like
love
this
to eat
weird
food.
little.
You know, if you
I don't know,
haven't
kind of.
noticed. One of the things that peeves me off
weird.
is potato
really is
chips.
weird.
It's surprised
I
me.
will tell you, here on, here out, about how I prefer
Fat Albert,
Ruffles
poor
over
guy.
Lay's, how I prefer kettle cooked over Lay's.
Hey, at least the
I
movie
hate
was
Lay's.
good.
But one
Other
thing's
things
for
about
certain,
fat
is
is
that
one
I'm a
thing that
pretty big
bugs me
food
more.
guy. Yeah,
I love
I
to
bought
eat
a
food.
bag of chips
You know,
for $1.
If you
It was a
haven't
pretty
noticed.
decently sized bag, about maybe
One of the things that peeves me off
Atoll.
is potato chips.
I bought it. I will
And it
tell
said
you
now,
here on, here out
25%
about how
more
I prefer
chips.
Ruffles over
That's a
Lay's,
bold
how I
fucking
prefer
lie.
kettle
I will
cooked
tell
over
you
Lay's.
that.
I hate Lay's.
We looked at that
But
bag
one
of
thing's
chips.
for
I
certain,
opened it up, and about
there is
50%
one thing
of
that
it
bugs
went
me more.
out the window and into the
I bought a
atmosphere.
bag of chips for $1.
Because half of that
It was
bag
a pretty
is just
decently sized
air.
bag, about maybe.
So you're telling me
Atoll.
that there was already just 25%
I bought
in
it,
that bag.
and it said now 25%.
And now you put another
more
25% in.
That is a
half
bold
of the
fucking
bag
lie.
is
I
chips,
will
the other
tell you
half
that.
is cheese air.
We looked at that bag of chips.
I opened
think
it
we
up,
could all
and about
agree
50%
this is a
of
travesty.
it went
This is
out
what our
the
nation
window
should be
and into
focused
the
on,
atmosphere.
making sure we've got
Because half of
bags
that bag
chips
is just air.
that are full to the brim.
So you're telling me that there was
Because good
already
Lord
just
knows
25%
we need
in that bag.
Bags of Doritos that are
And
full
now
to the
you
brim.
put another
If we're paying
25%
$1
in,
for chips,
half of the
I
bag is
demand
chips,
to
the
know
other
that
half
there
is
are a
cheese
whole
air.
bunch of chips in that bag.
I think we
I
could
had
all
a bag
agree
of
this is a
cheese
travesty.
doodles. This is what our
14
nation
in
should
it.
be focused on,
14. If I
making
could
sure
count
we've
how many
got
cheese doodles
bags of
are
chips
in a bag
that are
you know
full
you've
to
done
the
a
brim.
terrible job.
Because
And I
good
know
Lord
why
knows
TGI
we
Fridays
need
went out of business then.
bags of
because they only put
Doritos that are full to
14
the brim.
bags.
If we're paying $1 for chips,
14
I demand to know that
14
there are a
chips
whole bunch
in
of
a bag.
chips.
And that
That is
bag,
a travesty.
I had a bag of cheese doodles and there were maybe 14 in
Look,
it.
I don't eat
14.
salads.
If I could
think
count
that's
how many
noticeable.
cheese doodles
Guys
are
like
in a
me
bag,
have a rough time finding
you've done a
clothes.
terrible job.
You know why? Because we're
And
bigger
I know
guys.
why
That's
TGI
understandable.
Fridays went
I
out
am
of business
perfectly
then,
fine
because
being
they
a
only
bigger
put
guy.
14 bags.
But one of the hardest things is knowing that it's
14
easier
bags.
for women of
14
any shape and
chips
size to find
in a bag.
clothing,
That
especially
is a
pants.
travesty.
But if you're a guy and you're in that awkward
Look, I don't
size,
eat salads. I think
you're
that's
having a
noticeable.
hard time
Guys
finding
like me
anything.
have a rough time finding
I'm wearing
clothes.
a size 38
You know why?
and because we're bigger guys.
Waist.
That's understandable.
These are
I am
stretchy
perfectly
pants,
fine
too.
being a bigger guy. I went to
But
go
one
on
of the
find
hardest
these,
things is knowing
and they're
that it's
still
easier for
too
women
big on me.
of any
but I
shape
go
and
to the
size
size
to
down
find
to
clothing,
36, and they're
especially
tighter than
pants.
hell. But if you're a guy and you're in that awkward
problem with that?
size,
What's the deal with
you're having
guys
a hard
having
time
to,
finding
struggle
anything.
or have to find
I'm
custom
wearing a
fits?
size
Can't we just have a
38 and
37?
Why does
Waist.
everything have to be
These are
even
stretchy
sizes?
pants too. I went to go
I'm
and
looking
find
at myself
these,
and think, and they're
Excuse me,
still
ma'am.
too big on
Excuse me.
But I go to the size
happen to have
down
a size
to 36,
37?
and they're
She looked at
tighter
me
than
this way.
hell.
Sir,
there's no such thing
problem
as a
with that?
size
What's the
37.
deal with guys
There's no
having
such thing
to
as a size
struggle
37.
or have to
What
find custom
comes
fits?
after
Can't we
36
just
and
have a
before
37?
37?
Why does everything have to be even sizes?
Before 38.
I'm
can tell
looking
I'm
at
not very
myself
good
and
at
this. Excuse me, ma'am.
I'm stumbling over my
I
words.
happen to have a size 37.
Which is exactly
She
what my
looked at
brother
just
told
went,
me not to do in this situation.
Sir, there's no such thing as a size
The
37.
worst thing is
There's
about
no such
clothing.
thing as a size
You could
37.
find
What-
shirts.
what comes
Shirts are
after
easy to
36
find.
and before
They tell you
37.
exactly what size it is. You fit in it, perfect. If it's a little too big,
Before
just tuck
38.
it in your pants.
You can tell I'm
But
not
if your
really
damn-
good at this.
But if your damn pants are too loose, I'm
What
stumbling
are you
over
gonna
my
do?
words. What are you
Which
gonna
is
do?
exactly
You know what
what my
you're gonna
brother
do?
told me not
You're gonna
to do
hike
in
up
this
your pants all the
situation.
way to your stomach, and you're gonna look like Steve Urkel. The worst thing is
Nobody
about
wants
clothing.
to look like
you could
Steve
find
Urkel.
shirts.
Jaleel
Shirts
White,
are
maybe,
easy to
but
find.
not Steve
They tell you
Urkel.
exactly what size it is. You fit in it.
This
perfect.
goes down to
if
the
it's a little
fact
too
that,
big, just tuck
you
it
know,
in your pants.
your legs, I
But
think,
if
are
your
the most
damn-
important part
if
of your
damn
body.
Pants are too
They
loose.
do so much.
What are
You
you
move
gonna
around
do?
because of your legs.
What are you
don't
gonna
want
do?
your
You
pants
know what you're
falling
gonna
down,
do?
having to waddle
You're gonna
around
hike up
like
your
an idiot
pants all the way
in
to
your
your
underwear,
stomach, and you're gonna
So
look
let's
like
face it,
Steve
no
Urkel.
one wants to see what's going on down there.
Nobody wants to look like Steve Urkel.
Especially if you're
Jaleel
driving.
White,
Maybe,
Do you know
but not
how much
Steve
dexterity happens with just your feet? This goes down
You
to
gotta
the
push
fact
the
that
brake.
you gotta push the
You know,
gas. You gotta go
your
forward.
legs,
You gotta
I think,
move.
are the most important part of your body.
You actually gotta get
They
out of the
do
car.
so much. You move around because of your legs.
And
you don't
unfortunately,
want your pants
my
falling
car's
down
in better
having to
shape
waddle
than I
around
am.
like an idiot.
And my car's a
in your underwear.
1999 Chevy
So let's
Lumina.
face it, no one wants to see what's going on down there.
The worst thing about it is the same
Especially
year
if
I
you're
actually
driving.
got the car.
Do you know
my
how
car
much
had one of the
dexterity
worst things
happens
happen
with just your
and
feet?
oddly enough,
You
it
gotta
also has
push
to
the
deal with
brake,
these
you
pair
gotta
of
push the
pants.
gas.
You got to go forward. You got to move. I bought these pair of pants because
I was working at
the car.
American Eagle at the time.
And unfortunately, my car's in better shape than
I
I
had a
am.
day shift.
And my car's
I
a
got into the
1999
car.
Chevy Lumina.
I went down the hill, and if you don't know,
The worst thing
Camel
about it
is
is
hills.
the
It
same
is
year
hills no
I
matter
actually
where
got
you
the
go.
car.
If you're going down
my
Youngstown,
car had one of the worst things
just
happen.
ask anybody.
And
you're
oddly
going
enough,
down a
it
hill,
also has to
or
deal
you're
with these
going
pair of
up
pants.
a hill. Regardless,
I bought these
it's
pair
going
of
to put a
pants
lot of
because
tension
I
on
was
your
working
car.
at American Eagle
Thankfully,
at the time.
I made it past the hill. I'm going down Wilson Avenue. Wilson
I
Avenue
had
is
a day
flat
shift.
land. I got
It's
into the
nice.
car. I mean, it's not.
I
went
went
down
down
the
the
hill,
hill,
and
and
if
if
you
you
don't
don't
know,
drive,
Camel is hills.
I make-
it is hills
I
no
make it
matter
to the
where you
light.
go. If you're going down Youngstown,
I put my
just
foot on
ask
the brake.
anybody. You're going down
And
a
then
hill, or
suddenly,
you're going up a
A
hill.
car
Regardless,
made a noise.
it's going to
that
put a
no
lot of
car should
tension on
ever
your
make.
car. Thankfully,
It was a low,
I made it past
groaning
the hill.
noise.
I'm
You know,
going down
like
Wilson
getting punched
Avenue.
in the
Wilson
stomach.
Avenue is flat land.
Me,
It's
that's
nice.
not a hard
I mean,
target
it's
to
not
miss.
nice, but it's nice to drive. It made that low groaning
I
noise.
make it to the light.
And then all of a sudden,
I put my foot on the
Kind of
brake.
like,
again, a
and then
noise that a
suddenly,
body shouldn't make.
a
A
snapping
car made
of
a
rubber.
noise that
Kind
no
of like
car should
if
ever
you ate
make.
too much and your belt kind of
It was a low, groaning noise. You know,
brakes
like
went
getting
down,
punched in the stomach.
And I didn't notice
Which,
until I
me,
looked on the
that's not a
dashboard and
hard
said in
target to
big,
miss.
bold, bright letters, brakes.
It made that low, groaning noise.
This was a sign of
And
trouble.
then all of a sudden,
I went
kind of like, again,
and literally
a noise
cried,
that a body
help,
shouldn't make.
help! The snapping of rubber.
That's a horrible help. Kind
Kinda
of
like
like if you
help.
ate too much and your belt kind of exploded.
My car's going 40 down
The
Wilson
brakes
Avenue.
went down,
passes a red
and I
light.
didn't
Van
notice
comes this
until
way.
I looked
Bike-
on the dashboard
bike
and said
comes
big,
this way.
bold, bright letters.
Nearly misses me.
Brakes.
I'm going down.
This
There's a
was
police
a
officer.
sign of trouble.
I go out the window and start
I
waving my
went
hands
What does
and
he do? He
literally
waves.
cried, "Help! Help!"
You know,
Hi, how you
That's a
doing?
horrible
Yeah,
help.
I see
We're like,
you.
help,
Help!
there I am.
Going
My car's
down
going 40
Wilson
down
Avenue.
Wilson
And
Avenue.
I know at some
Passes
point
a red
Wilson
light.
Avenue
Van
has to
comes
end
this
way, and it doesn't
Bike
end
comes
in
this
the
way.
road. It ends in a
Nearly
ditch.
misses me somewhere by a
I'm
light.
going down. There's a police officer.
So I've got
I
two
go out the
options.
window and start waving my
Either
hands. I face
What does
my
he do? He waves.
concrete grave.
You know,
Or
hi, how you doing?
I make a
yeah,
dive.
I see you.
Well, you can guess
There
which
I
kind
am,
of choice I made.
Going down Wilson
I
Avenue.
unclip my
And I
belt
know at some
buckle,
point Wilson
I
Avenue
open the
has
door,
to end.
and it doesn't end in
assume
the
the
road.
praying
It
position.
ends in a ditch
I
somewhere
said, God,
by a light.
please keep me safe.
So I've got
Please
two options.
keep this car safe.
Either I face my
And I jumped.
concrete
There I
grave.
did it.
I dived
Or
out of the car.
I make a
It
dive.
was like that scene in The King of
Well,
Queens
you
where he's
guess
about to
which
get
kind
run
of
over by
choice
the
I
ice
made.
cream truck.
I
unclipped my
dived.
belt buckle. I opened
tucked,
the door.
I rolled. I knocked out. I assumed the praying position.
My car drove off 40
I
miles
said,
an hour
God,
down the
please
road.
keep me safe.
And when I woke up,
Please keep this
somehow
car
the
safe.
curb caught it,
And it was
and I
perfectly
jumped.
fine.
There I did it. I
What
dived
ended up
out of the
happening
car.
next
It was
was
like
about
that
an
scene
hour
in
and
The King
80
of Queens
degree
where he's
weather
about to get run over by
that
the ice cream
perfectly
truck.
summed up why I
I
hate
dived.
summer weather.
I tucked. I'm in
I rolled.
jeans,
I
and you should
knocked
never
out.
wear jeans in hot weather.
My
because
car drove
if
off
you're fat
40
like
miles
me,
an hour down
it's
the
not
road.
a good combination.
And when I woke up,
I'm
somehow
waiting there.
the
I don't
curb
have a
caught
cell
it,
phone to call
and it was
anybody on.
perfectly
I'm
fine.
flagging down anybody I can. This guy
What
in this
ended up
big van
happening
comes
next
up.
was
I said,
about an
"Hey,
hour
man, can
and
I use
80
your
degree
cell phone?
weather
My car just broke
that
down."
perfectly
No,
summed up
man,
why
I'm
I
talking
hate
to my
summer weather.
girlfriend. Proceeded to
I'm in
close the
jeans,
window, and
and
you should never wear
150
jeans
down
in
to
hot
25.
weather because If you're fat like me, I looked as the
not a
dust
good combination.
kicked up from his tires, hit me in the face.
I'm waiting there. I don't have a cell phone to call
again,
anybody on.
stuck in
I'm
the
flagging
middle of
down
the hot
anybody I
summer
can.
heat
This guy in this big
with
van
no way
comes
to
up.
call
I said,
home.
hey, man, can I use your cell phone? My
That
car
was
just
until a
broke
nice
down.
Hispanic lady
No, man,
found
I'm
me
talking to my
and gave me a
girlfriend.
ride. I had to
Proceeded
call
close the
hookers.
window and
No, I
50
wish,
down to
but
25.
not women.
I ended up having to call a
as the
tow
dust
truck,
kicked up
and
from his
hookers
tires,
came and
hit
picked
me
up
in
the
face,
car, and I paid them 50
there
bucks.
I was again.
Ironically,
Stuck in the middle of
I
the
still
hot
paid
summer
the
heat
hookers 50
with
bucks.
no way to call home.
The worst thing
That
of
was
it
until
was,
a nice Hispanic
again,
lady
it was
found me and
$384
gave
just
me
to
a
get the
ride.
brakes
I had to
fixed.
call
And I
hookers.
still owe my mother that money.
No, I wish, but
She's
not
probably
women.
going to see this, and I'm probably
I
just
ended up
going to
having to
remind
call
her
a
of
tow
it.
truck,
And
so I'm
hookers
digging
came
my own
and
grave
picked
as
up
I'm
the
doing
car,
this
and
show.
I
I
paid
hope
them
you guys
50
know that.
bucks.
Ironically,
It's
I
been
still
a
paid
rough
the
year,
hookers
too,
50
because
bucks.
now my brakes are squeaking. The worst thing of it
So every
was,
time I come
again, it was
down
$384 just to get
there's
the
a
brakes
red light.
fixed.
I'm dreading it.
And I still
Because
owe my
now
mother that
I'm drawing
money.
attention to this car.
She's probably going
This
to see this,
raggedy
and
car
I'm probably
that's
just
been
going to
through
remind her
hell
of
on
it.
earth.
So I'm digging my own grave
Slammed
as I'm
into
doing this
3
show. I hope you
poles.
guys know that.
Still has a pretty decent
It's
dent
been
in
a
it.
rough year, too, because now
It's still running.
my brakes are squeaking.
The only time it never breaks.
So every time
is
I
when
come
decide,
down
oh hey,
a street,
let me go in the rain.
there's a red light. I'm dreading it.
I put my foot on the brake
Because
and
now
it kinda
I'm drawing
swerves and
attention to this car. This
it
raggedy
just
car that
decides,
been
oh hey,
through
I'm gonna
hell
go
on
through the
earth.
light,
And it does. It slammed into
Surprisingly,
3 poles.
still has a
I've caught
pretty
it
decent
very
dent
well,
in it,
where it's still yellow and hasn't
and
gone
it's still
through red.
running. The only time it never breaks
Another fun story about
is when
my
I decide,
little,
oh hey, let me go in the
escapades
rain.
is
I put my
I
foot on the
work
brake
in,
and it
in
kinda
social work,
swerves and it
essentially. I'll sit behind the
it
desk,
just
I'll ask folks,
decides,
hi, what are you
oh
doing
hey, I'm
today?"
gonna go through the light,
And it
and
does.
they'll tell me what they're doing.
Surprisingly,
I said, okay, do you have
know,
this, and this?
I've caught it very well,
And
where it's
they'll
still
show me
yellow
what
and
they have. I said,
hasn't
well,
gone
you
through
know,
red.
this isn't gonna work.
Another fun
isn't
story
gonna
about
work. This'll
my
work.
little
This
isn't gonna work.
escapades is.
And they look at me like,
what the
I'm
hell
a-
do
I
you
work
mean?
in social work.
I've had these
essentially.
for 50 years.
I'll sit behind the desk. I'll ask
Well,
folks,
I
"Hi,
know
what
that.
are you doing today?"
You know that.
But does the state
And
of Ohio
they'll tell
know
me
that?
what they're doing.
Does
I
the
said,
state
okay,
of
do you
Ohio
have this,
know
this,
that
and this?
you went to Starbucks yesterday?
And they'll show me
Does
what
the
they
state
have.
of
I said,
Ohio
well, you know,
that you hung out with
this
your
isn't
friends
gonna
and
work.
got
This
drunk
isn't
for
gonna
about
work.
40
This will
minutes.
work. And this
Then
isn't
you
gonna
proceeded
work.
to drive an Uber home.
And they look at me like, what the hell do you
I
mean?
know that because I
I've
know
had
you.
these for 50
But the
years.
state doesn't know that.
Well, I know that. One of
You
those
know
weird
that.
little
Does
things
the
where
state of
people
Ohio
think
know
that
that?
the world revolves around
Does
them.
the state of Ohio
And sadly,
know that you went to
I'm the person who
Starbucks
gets
yesterday?
the brunt of it, along with my
Does
other
the state of Ohio
coworkers
know that you hung
who,
out with your friends?
thankfully,
got
gave
drunk
me the
for
guts
about
to talk
40
about,
minutes.
you know,
Then
being
you proceeded
funny
to drive an Uber
and
home.
doing all this stuff.
I know that because I know
You can tell this is my first
But the
time.
state doesn't know that.
You can really tell. One of those weird little things
I've
where
looked
people
at this
think that
and
the world
thought about
revolves
it
around them
all the time.
And sadly,
Why is it people
I'm
think
the
they're
person
so
who gets the brunt
entitled
of it,
to,
along with my other
stuff?
coworkers?
I mean, I think I'm
who,
entitled to stuff. I'm sure people
thankfully,
here think they're
gave me
entitled
the
to
guts
stuff.
to talk about
Nice stuff,
you
good
know,
stuff,
being funny.
and
then we
doing all this
realized,
stuff.
oh wait,
Yeah, we live in America.
you could tell this is my
We
first
usually
time.
don't get the good
You
stuff.
can
I
really
look at
tell.
Japan and they get all this awesome stuff. I've looked at this.
Why don't
and
we get
thought
awesome
about it
stuff?
all
I want
the
my
time.
Japan stuff.
Why is it people think they're so
Not
entitled
gonna happen
to
unless you pay like
$400
for it.
I mean, I think I'm
That or
entitled
you-
to stuff. I'm sure
you're able
people
to make
here think they're
awesome
entitled
stuff,
to
which
stuff. I'm
nice
not. I
stuff,
can barely
good
make a
stuff.
joke.
And then we realized,
At
oh,
least I
wait,
know
yeah,
self-pity
we live
is
in
the one
America.
thing I can make. We usually
Because
don't
I
get
could
the
talk
good
about
stuff.
every
I look at
bad thing
Japan
I
and
could
they get
do,
all
like
this
I am an
awesome
expert
stuff.
at it. Why don't we
greatest
get
thing
awesome
about
stuff?
self-pity
I want my Japan
is that
stuff.
You could talk about every
Not
bad
gonna
thing
happen
you do,
unless you pay like
everything you're bad
$400
at,
for it.
and you can
That or
literally
you-
make
you're
an
able to make
entire
awesome
repertoire,
stuff, which
resume.
I can barely make a joke.
Say, hey, you want to know what I'm good at? At least I know
I
self-pity
can't
is the
tell
one
you.
thing I can
But
make.
you want to know what I'm
Because I
bad
could talk
at?
about every
Boy,
bad thing
do
I
I
could do,
have
like
a
I am an
list.
expert at it. The greatest thing about self-pity is that
Let's see.
you could
what
talk
else do
about
I
every
have to
bad
offer
thing
at
you
the
do,
table?
everything you're
What
bad
else
at.
am I bad at?
And you can
I'm
literally
actually
make
running
an
out of
entire
things to say at this
repertoire
point because
resume.
I'm
Say,
that
hey,
bad at it.
you want to know what I'm good at?
I'm bad at bowling,
I can't
which
tell
doesn't
you.
help that I come to
But
a
you wanna
bowling
know
alley
what I'm
every
bad
Monday
at?
and Wednesday night.
Boy, do I have a list.
In fact, Here's a story about bowling. I went bowling every year as a kid.
Let's see. What else do
We would
I
go
have
bowling.
to offer at the table? What
And
else am
I
bad
ended
at?
up being the one kid
actually running
who
out
got
of things
gutters
to say at this
every
point
time.
because
And the one time I
I'm
actually
that
got
bad
a
at it.
strike,
it was in the wrong
I'm
way.
bad at bowling, which doesn't help that I come
I
to
got
a bowling
Ray with the
alley
ball. Now,
every
this is a
Monday and
much
Wednesday
shorter,
night.
much
In
you know,
fact,
smaller.
here's a story
Paul.
about bowling.
Hard to imagine.
I went
know.
bowling every
There
year
he
as a
is
kid.
with his 5-pound
We would go bowling.
ball.
He gets ready.
And I
he
ended
aims
up
it,
being the one kid
he throws it
who got gutters
bowling
every
ball
time.
goes
And the one time I actually got a
should be
strike
going this
it was
way,
in the wrong
and
lane.
it goes that way.
What does it do?
I got Ray with
it
the ball.
somehow
Now this is a much
banks
shorter,
off of the
much
what do you guys call
ball.
the things that you put
Hard
up for
to
the
imagine
kids
that
I
they,
know.
that way it doesn't.
There he
gutter.
is with his 5-pound
Yeah, the
bowling
bumpers.
ball. Goes off of the bumpers.
He gets ready.
Zigzag.
He aims
it looks like a
He
pinball
throws it.
machine.
The bowling ball
And hits a
goes
complete
that
strike.
way.
It should be going
This
this
way.
way.
I was so happy.
It goes
until
that
I
way.
realized.
What does it do?
Oh wait,
it somehow
I just lost my
banks
ball
off of the.
and I still haven't hit
Oh,
any of the pins.
What do you guys
in
call
my
the things
actual
that you
alley.
put up for the kids that they,
That way it
Happy
doesn't gutter.
birthday, Paul.
Yeah, the bumpers.
It's one of those
goes
weird
off
little
the bumpers.
experiences
Zigzag.
that you know.
It looks like a pinball
Hey,
machine.
you did something good.
and hits
You
a
done
complete
fucked it up
strike.
too.
And I was so
I'm
happy.
bad at sports in general. Until I
I
realized
tried hitting a baseball.
Oh wait,
I
I
just
knocked
lost
the
my
head
ball
off of,
and I still
one
haven't
of the
hit any of the pins in my actual alley.
They're like practice dummies or something.
Happy birthday, Paul.
I clean knocked off.
It's
head
one
off
of those
a
weird
practice
little
dummy.
experiences that you
And I
know.
said, thank God no one
Hey,
was there.
you did
I
something
could've
good.
cleaved someone's head
You
off
done fucked
with
it
a
up
wiffle
too.
bat.
I'm bad
It
at
doesn't
sports in
look like
general.
I'm that strong.
I tried hitting a baseball.
I shouldn't be
I
that
clean
strong.
knocked the head
But
off
when
of
adrenaline hits
one
you,
of the. You could do a lot of amazing things.
They're like practice dummies or something.
I got ready. I
I
assumed
clean
position.
knocked off the head off
He
of
hit
a
the
practice
ball.
dummy.
I
They
went
said,
like
thank
this.
God no one was there. I could have
And then
cleaved
all of a
someone's
sudden,
head off with a wiffle bat.
The head goes flying, makes a home run.
It doesn't look like I'm that strong.
I'm an accidental.
I shouldn't be that
sports
strong.
star.
But
I
when
will do
adrenaline
something
hits
amazing,
you, but I will never
You
do
could
it
do
the
a
right
lot
way.
of amazing things.
I'll perform a strike.
I got
in the
ready.
wrong
I
lane.
assumed position.
I'll hit a home run.
He hit
but not
the
with
ball.
with the head of a practice dummy.
I went like this.
I'll perform a touchdown and it proceed
Then
to
all
get
of a
my
sudden,
nose broken with a
The
field goal.
head goes flying, makes a home
It's
run.
true. It happened. I have a deviated
I'm an
septum.
accidental sports star.
Why? Because I was playing
I will
football
do
with a
something
friend of mine,
amazing.
but I will never
He gets
do
ready
it the
to
right
kick
way.
the football. I'm defending.
I'll
I'm the
perform a
biggest and
strike
oldest guy there.
in the wrong lane.
My friend,
I'll hit a
kicks
home run,
the
but
football,
not with the ball with the head of a
spirals,
practice dummy.
and
I'll
immediately
perform a touchdown
funks me right
and
in
it
the nose.
proceeds
I
to
go
get
down.
my nose broken
I'm
with a field
screaming
goal.
bloody murder,
It's true. It happened. I have a
and I'm
deviated
completely
septum.
fine. 12 years later,
Why?
I
Because
realize
was
that
playing
has
football
affected
with
me
a friend of
because I
mine.
can only breathe out of one
He
nostril.
gets ready to kick the football. I'm defending. I'm the biggest and oldest guy there.
My friend kicks the football, spirals,
I'm a
and
chatterbox
immediately
too.
funks me right in the nose.
There's a
I
reason
go
I
down.
decided to do stand-up comedy.
I'm
It's
screaming
because
bloody murder.
I decided
I talk too much. I
and
need
I'm
to do
completely
this
fine.
in a positive way.
12 years later, I realize
Looking
that
at it has
now
affected me
I'm
because I
thinking,
can only
oh
breathe
God,
out of one nostril.
this does not make any sense. These jokes don't make any sense. Paul, what are you saying? Stop talking. I'm a
But no, I mean,
chatterbox,
I'm getting
too.
chuckles off of it, so that must mean
There's
I'm
a
doing
reason I
something
decided
right.
to do stand-up comedy. It's because
I mean, we'll see
I
tomorrow when
decided
this thing goes
I
live.
talk
If
too
anybody
much.
starts
I
laughing,
need to do this
or,
in a
you know,
positive way.
in the sense of
makes
laughing
laughing
at it
emojis.
now,
I'm thinking
my stories
oh God,
aren't
this
completely
does not
out
make
of the
any
blue,
sense.
but they make
These
sense.
jokes don't make any sense.
I could talk about
Paul, what are you
horrible
saying?
experiences in
Stop
school
talking.
because.
I was a
But
shut-in.
no,
in
I mean, I'm
school.
getting chuckles
I
off
was a
of it,
social
so that must
pariah.
mean I'm doing something
And
right.
somehow I ended up becoming the prom king.
I mean, we'll see
and senior class
tomorrow when
president.
this thing goes live. If anybody
I'm still
starts
trying to
laughing,
figure that part
or,
out.
You know,
In the
when I
sense of
did,
makes
adrenaline
laughing
kicked
emojis.
in, and I lifted my
My stories aren't
320-pound assistant
completely out of
principal
the
in a
blue.
kind of like
But they make
Zangief
sense.
hug.
I could talk about
He was
horrible
surprised, too.
experiences in school because
Tears were rolling
I was
down
a
my
shut-in in
eyes. I
school.
was holding and
I
swaying
was
him
a
back
social
and
pariah.
forth. It was like
And
cradling
somehow
a
I
baby.
ended up becoming the prom king and senior
People were
class
astounded.
president.
How could this?
I'm still
win?
trying to figure
He's
that
never
part
played
out.
a damn game in his
When I
entire
did,
life.
adrenaline kicked in, and I
Actually,
lifted my
you know, lift up a
320-pound
person like that.
assistant principal in a kind of like Zangief
hug.
It's kind of one of those weird little
He
things
was surprised
that show,
too.
Hey,
Tears were
you know,
rolling down my
humans
eyes.
are
I was
incredible at
holding
making
and swaying him
things
back and
happen
forth.
under
It was like
complete
cradling a baby.
accident.
People were astounded.
I was able
How
to
could
perform a
this
speech
win?
in front of
Who's
people.
never
I
played
made
a
multiple people
damn
cry.
game in his entire life.
At least I know I could do
Actually,
that. I can make
you know,
people
lift
cry.
up a person like
that. Hell, I wonder how many people are going to be crying after they watch
It's
this.
kind
Kind of one of those weird little things that show.
Hey, here's stand-up
hey,
comedy.
You know, humans
But
are
here's the
incredible
catch.
at making
The
things
jokes are
happen
so
under
bad, you'll be
complete
crying.
accident.
Not with laughter, crying because there's so much.
I was able to
misery in
perform
it.
a speech in front of people. I made multiple people
How many minutes
cry.
do we got left, my friend?
At least
We
I
got
know I could
5
do
minutes
that.
left.
I can
Is that
make
what you
people
wrote
cry.
down over there? I was wondering why.
Oh,
So
I wonder how many
guess I
people
better
are gonna
make
be
this
crying
count.
after
They
they
say
watch
leave
this.
your best joke for the last.
Hey,
Leave your
here's
second
stand-up
best joke
comedy
for first. just But here's the catch.
And then leave all
the jokes
the
are
boring
so
stuff
bad
in the
you'll
middle,
be crying.
I guess.
Not with laughter.
So I'm going to
crying
leave you with a
because there's
story
so much
that I
misery
think
in it.
makes perfect sense.
How many minutes do we
If
got
I can
left,
remember.
my friend?
We got 5 minutes left. Is that what you wrote down?
The story on how
I was
I
wondering
met-
why. So
'cause
I
am
guess
not
I
in a
better make this
relationship.
count. They say
The story on
leave
how
your
I
best
met most
joke
of
for
my
last exes
and leave your second
are
best
kind of
joke
funny.
for first.
Specifically, I want to tell the story
And
about how I
then
met my
leave
first
all
ex.
the boring stuff in the middle.
I was working
guess.
as a bathtub salesman.
So I'm
going
gonna
to leave you with a
bathtub
story
salesman.
that I think
I
makes
sat
perfect
on a
sense.
chair, quite like this,
If I
and
can
sold
remember.
bathtubs. The
On
story
my day
on
off,
how
I went to the
met,
mall where I
because
worked,
I am not in a
bought lunch,
relationship.
and there I saw this girl.
The story on
I
how I
walked
met
up to
most
her,
of my
thinking I
exes
knew her from somewhere,
are kind of
and
funny.
said,
Do I know
specifically,
you
I
from
want to tell the
somewhere?
story about how I
You
met
know,
my first
like
ex.
any normal person would.
I was working as a bathtub
Normal,
salesman.
yes.
Yes.
Problem
a
is,
bathtub salesman.
No normal
I
person
sat
walks up to a
on a
complete
chair,
stranger
quite like
and says,
this,
"Do I know
and
you
sold
from
bathtubs.
somewhere?" Because, well,
That's a little creepy.
on my day off, I went
I
to the
haven't
mall
found
where
that
I worked,
fine line
bought lunch,
between
and there I saw this
actually
girl.
being bold
I walked up
and,
to her,
you know,
thinking I knew
trying
her
to
from
figure out
somewhere
what
and
doesn't look
said,
creepy.
"Do I know you from somewhere?" She
You know,
says,
like any normal person would. No.
"Normal."
And proceeded
Yes.
to kind of
Problem
ignore me.
is, no normal
So,
person
in order
walks
to keep
up
the
to a
conversation
complete
going
stranger
and
says,
"Wait a minute,
"Do I know you
I'll be
from
right
somewhere?"
back."
She
Because,
looked worried.
Well, that's a little creepy.
As any
normal person
I
would.
haven't found that.
I went and bought
fine
her
line
strawberry
between
lemonade.
Actually, being bold.
I said,
and,
"Here you go."
You know, the
Trying to
saving
figure out
grace of
what
this was
doesn't
actually
look
her
creepy.
mother.
Yeah, her mother was shopping
She
with her and
says,
said,
"Why don't
um,
you come and have a seat with us?"
no.
And so I did.
proceeded
We
to
talked
kind of
about
ignore
it,
me.
and I said, "Hey, how about
So,
we go to a
in order
movie?
to keep the
Incredibles
conversation
are
going, I
playing."
said, "Wait a minute, I'll
The
be right back."
Incredibles. She looked
I'm an
worried.
18-year-old guy at
As
this
any
point, and
normal
I
person
chose
would.
The Incredibles. I went and bought her strawberry
I
lemonade.
didn't know what she was into.
I said, "Here you go."
I don't know women.
The saving grace of this was actually her mother.
So we made the date.
Yeah, her mother was shopping
and
with
many
her and said,
months later, after
"Why
we
don't you
broke
come
up,
and have a
she
seat
told
with
me,
us?" Look,
and
if
so
it
I
weren't for
did.
my mother,
we talked
I
about
would
it,
have
and I
maced
said,
you
"Hey, how about
in
we
front
go
of
to a movie?
everybody.
The Incredibles are playing."
Yeah,
The Incredibles.
that shows how good the
I'm an
relationship
18-year-old
was.
guy at this
If
point,
it weren't
and
for
I
her
chose
mother,
The
the saving
Incredibles.
grace of it all,
I
she
didn't
would
know
have
what she was
maced
into.
me on the
I don't
spot.
know women.
She would have sprayed me with a
So we
bottle
made
of
the
pepper
date,
spray in front
And
of
many
thousands
months
of
later,
people.
after we broke up,
And there I'd
she
be,
told me,
a complete
"Look, if it weren't for
mess.
my mother,
I would have
now I
maced
like
you
spicy food,
in front of everybody."
but I don't like spicy food
Yeah.
in my eyes.
But that shows how good the
I
relationship
don't like being
was.
maced."
If it weren't for her mother,
thankfully,
the
I'm
saving
thankful her
grace
mother
of it
was
all,
there, 'cause now I have
she
the
would have
experience to
maced
never,
me on the spot.
you know,
do that again.
She would have sprayed me
or
with
else
a bottle
fear
of pepper
spray
spray.
in front of thousands of people.
So the moral of the
and
story
there I'd
is,
be a complete mess.
if you're a big guy, now
It's
I
okay.
like spicy
You'll
food.
find the right clothing. Your
But I don't
car
like
will
spicy
always
food
be
in my
better
eyes.
looking than you and in better shape.
I
than
don't
you.
like being maced.
Women have it easy because they
But
have
thankfully,
pepper
I'm
spray.
thankful her mother was
And,
there, because
now I have the experience
well,
to never.
you
Other
know,
than that,
do that again.
don't buy hats
Or
that
else
you don't look
fear
at the
of
front
pepper
of. Spray. This has
So the
been
moral
one
of
of
the
those
story
weird
is,
moments you'll probably
if you're
never
a big
forget.
guy, you'll
It's
probably be
okay.
more confused
You'll find the right
than
clothing.
laughing, and
Your car
you know,
will
complete
always be better looking
happiness
than you and in better
You won't
shape
have
than you.
tears of
Women have it
happiness, you'll
easy
be having
because they
tears
have
of
pepper
confusion
spray.
and sadness,
and
knowing you just wasted 30
well,
minutes of your life.
Other
watching
than
a
that,
short, pudgy Italian
don't
guy
buy hats that
make
you
bad
don't look at
jokes.
the front of.
My name is Paul Tropea.
This
has
has been
Westside
one of those
Bull.
weird moments
I
you'll
am
probably
so
never
very
forget.
sorry.
You'll probably be more
Thank
confused
you, and,
than laughing and
Have a good
you know,
night.
complete happiness. You won't have tears of happiness. You'll be having tears of confusion and sadness.